Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
Every once in a while, we have to bring out the big dog.
Yeah.
Oh, God help us. It's time for Danny Unleashed. Sponsored by Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. Go to eastonroofing.com for more.
Hour number 2 of the Friday edition of the program rolling along. We welcome Dan Clinkscale. Dan the man.
Dan Robert Clinkscale.
Little
That's
Dan
true.
Unleashed.
That is true.
He is unleashed as hell right now, I can tell you that. Running around here, screaming, yelling. Calm down, Danny. Calm down.
He bit someone earlier. He bit someone on the ankle.
Danny Clinkscale's appearance brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing. Listen, Easton Roofing is the best when it comes to either your home or the commercial roofs. No payment collected until you're 100% satisfied. Estimates, they're always free. Inspections, they're free as well. We had another big windstorm, another big storm blow through. Your roof's been taking a beating. If it's older, find out right now. Call Easton Roofing at 913-257-5426. When the cold and the frozen water starts coming in, that's when the big problems happen. You can solve them right now by calling Easton Roofing. Kansas City's best, 913-257-5426, handling the entire metro, including Lawrence and Topeka. It's Easton Roofing. Integrity matters. Danny, how are you, sir?
I'm doing just fine.
Are you good?
I am good.
Are you feeling good?
I'm feeling about 92%.
Okay.
I think I've got a little tiny frog in my throat.
Oh, thanks for coming in.
Maybe
The
less,
tiniest
maybe
frog.
less than a frog.
Yeah.
Maybe just.
Want to back up a little?
I don't think that's
Want
really
to
an
get
issue.
that thing over there?
Yeah. Plop up the big...
Our old COVID screen we have that sits over in the corner now.
But yes, I'm probably feeling better than 92%. But
Okay.
anyway, feeling good. Just you made me think of my dad by calling me Dan Robert. And actually,
Dan Robert, now that I know that it's Robert, I'll do that more since
Daniel
you really
Robert.
love it.
I think I've actually, you only refamiliarize yourself with your middle name, once every 6 months or something when you fill out a form or something. And I kept, I thought about changing my name when I started as a broadcaster because that was...
What were you going to be? Danny two times?
I didn't give it
Dan Roberts.
that much thought to the point where I was picking names out.
What about Danjo?
But
That'd be good.
Danimal again. But anyway,
we'll get to it because I'm falling asleep hearing the story so far.
Well, it's 14 words. If you stop interrupting me, I might get it out. It's about a 20-second story. I kept the name Clinkscale because my dad was still in the business, and I thought it might do me some good. Well, it really didn't. But I got all my jobs all the jobs on my own volition. But anyway, my dad actually used a broadcasting name for the first couple of years of his career. He was Bob Douglas.
Okay.
And
Is
then
his middle name Douglas?
when he went on television, they said, what name do you want to use? And he said, well, I was Bob Douglas when I did radio. And they said, well, why don't you use your own name? Do you want to use your own name? And he said,
Yes.
sure, I'll
Yeah.
use my own name.
Then he became Bob Clinkscale.
That was more of a thing back in those days.
much
Nowadays, I don't know that many people do that.
Well, he was a disc jockey also.
Yeah.
So many disc jockeys. At one time, like in the 50s, sometimes there were like 20 Johnny Ace in the country or something.
Rush Limbaugh was Jeff Christie when he was a DJ.
That's right.
In
Jeff
college, I
Christie?
did one DJ shift as Steve Michaels.
There you go.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I wish we had the
I
air
was
check
like,
of that.
This is the most awful thing I've ever done in my life. This
But
will
I
never
guess the
happen
weirdest
again.
part of it was for my mom because she would go around town in Brattleboro and Bennington, Vermont, and people would say, "Hi, Mrs. Douglas." She'd be like, she wouldn't know what they were talking about.
Oh, okay.
So anyway,
All right. How about Bob Witt Jr.?
well,
He's Bobby, but
it's-
we've taken to calling him Bob.
It's the
Bob.
absurd.
Because he's playing like a grown-ass man now.
Well, he came one hit away from hitting 500 for a month. I can remember one other thing, and it's not anecdotal. I know it's true because I've looked it up since, but it's anecdotal to me because it was an Astro. I remember Jose Cruz hit 500 one month back in the day. I remember that. But that's the only thing I can remember for this length of time where somebody has been this hot. And that's remarkable. It's just like every at-bat, he hits like a guy in slow-pitch softball.
It really is. And I can only think of, I know he had a duck snort the other night. That blooper that fell in front.
Yeah.
For the most part, this is
right.
not like when you, like MJ Melendez, part like, oh, he's really heating up. I'm like, there are like 3 softball slicers in the last 2 days by that guy. Like, he is not hitting the ball hard. Bobby Witt Jr. is hitting the ball hard.
Pounding the gap. The one he hit last night, you're like, that's going to be gone. Whoa.
Yeah.
And it isn't just, I said this a couple days ago, it wasn't just the raw numbers. It's, I guess, to a stylistic standpoint, it's that what he did with the Grand Slam the other night, that's George Brett territory, not just...
Oh, he's been timely.
To step to the plate when his team absolutely needed it in the first pitch yard. Grand Slam, essentially game over.
A lot of times when the Royals have had nothing going, nothing going in the game.
The triple.
He's been the guy
Friday
who
night triple.
Electrified things, put a charge into it, started things.
He started a number of them. And that's why you bat him second,
right?
By the way. And why, if they can't solve it, and, we'll see. Michael Garcia is back up there last night.
They seem to throw everyone there.
But I kind of like the idea of, Michael Massey being up there, but I think he's going to end up being in a platoon. But he's clutch. He's timely. We'll see if he continues to be clutch. George Brett was clutch. It's a long argued thing whether or not clutch exists. And Curtis's point about, George Brett was really good, so all his numbers are good. Right? Well, Bobby Witt Jr. is good. All his numbers are going to be good. And that means he's going to be clutch.
And when somebody's really good, you will notice when they do things at important times more. Boy,
they do it more often.
Witt's coming through, so often. Now, even the best player is going to come through, the very best in the very best hot streak 40% of the time, although Witt's been better for a month. But, 40% of the time. So most of the time, he's not doing it. But you still remember it and say, oh, well, every time he strides to the plate, I'm feeling good. Well, I actually, even if I'm DVRing a game and the Royals are well ahead now, and I just am scanning to make sure I don't miss anything, which is...
You stop for his at-bats and watch his at-bats.
I stop for his at-bats.
I do, too. I do, too, because I'll play that game sometimes. It's like, okay, I'm starting the game in the 5th, whatever, we had dinner, whatever was going on. It's like, okay, I'm going to catch up. Let's watch this. Let's see what he does. Even when he's out, I want to see how he got out, how they get him out. I'm with you. And it's been incredible to watch. What is bigger from last night's game? Bobby Witt, again, staying red hot, hitting another home run, or 2 home runs from Vinny Pasquantino?
Vinny Pasquantino.
Yeah, for sure.
Because right now, Bobby Witt is a given. Now, you're trying to grope for something to, say that is the slightest of problems. He's almost due for a couple of weeks of being just okay. And I'm not so sure the Royals, it's almost like he has to do this the rest of the year. But he's surged and put themselves in a position again where they have a little latitude. They don't have to be great. They don't have to go down the stretch like Secretariat here to make the playoffs. If they play a couple games over 500, that should be good enough. My focus has kind of changed to the potential that they could grab the first wild card.
Mine is not because of the stretch that begins on August 23rd. Right. And my focus is for them to make as much hay as they can now. I think they probably, if the Yankees get hot, if the Yankees are going to fart around, then yes. I think they want to get to that because I think they might need to get there to come out of that stretch with the third wild card in hand.
Right.
Because I
said
it's
almost thinking about it. I'm getting more and more comfortable with the idea that they're going to do this. They're going to do this. Now, you're right. There's a tremendously hard stretch.
Starting on August 23rd.
And they've just played the White Sox twice within a couple
Cleveland,
weeks.
At Houston, Cleveland, Minnesota at Yankees from the 23rd to September 11th. That is a bear.
It is a bear. So, as of 2 weeks ago, I still was on the they aren't going to make it side. And right now, I think I'm on the they're going to make it side.
What is the...
I mean, they're 12 over. I think 12 over has a chance to do it. I think that's 87-75.
Yep.
I think that's got a chance.
And this show,
that's just going 500.
I think they show the Pythagorean or whatever the baseball reference does. 7 playoff chances. This is around 75%. And that's just strictly what math. That's what their record is based on what the other teams' records are at this point in the season. It isn't. You got to kind of look a little deeper and see what the team's about. But,
on FanGraphs, the Royals are 63.5% right now.
Yeah.
But I think that's. Do you think that takes into account the record that's coming? I don't know what all they put
I
into
think
it.
they do, but I'm not positive.
Like the Guardians, 96, Twins, 80.2, and the Royals, 63.5.
I think it takes in. It also takes in. At least some of the models take in what they think of the quality of you as a team.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I think that's.
And
I mean, not just mathematics.
The 75
not just your record, but what? Yeah.
What they, what their analytics think of you as a team.
Yeah. And the 75.5 on Baseball Reference clearly is just a mathematical one. Not really, or it wouldn't be that high.
I don't know.
It wouldn't be that big of a gap.
I don't know what everybody
That's true.
puts into it. Are they like, well, this guy's out, and so we've minused out what he's meant to the team to this point, so we expect him to be that much worse? I don't know. I don't know what all they put into it. I know we were looking through the schedule, and like the Guardians have 8 more games against above 500 teams than the Royals. The Royals only have 11. They have 19 left. That was of note, like basically half the Guardians' schedule of what's left. Would that be right? Not quite. Not quite. And that'll change because there are teams that are a couple below or a couple above. That can change that. But that was one of the things that stood out. I mean, I think the Guardians will come back to the Royals and Twins, right? And the Twins, and everybody loves the Twins, but the Twins aren't the team that they were supposed to be.
No, they're compromised.
They're compromised from guys that were supposed to be really good that have not been good. I think that's I'm not completely so. I guess throw Baltimore in here now too, since the Yankees are up there. But the Royals have one of the tastier schedules. The team that schedule sucks is the Rays, and I think that's why you see why they sold, is because they play almost. I think they've got like 3 games left against teams that are below 500. It's like something ridiculous.
Well, to show how different these things are, just because I was looking through, and you had quoted the other ones, there's something called Power Rankings Guru, and they're 42% in that one. So we're looking at, 42, 63, 75.
If you put them all together, you probably get that they're above there, which they should be, just
because they're in now.
They're in now, but the question is, I'm with you. I'm much more optimistic. Randy and I on our Kaufman Corner podcast do every episode. We've done our Royals playoff optimism meter on a scale of 1 to 10, which is basically, if you say a 3.5, you're at like 35%.
Right.
And Randy's consistently been about a point higher than me, and he's been around 5 and as high as 5.5. He might have hit 6. And I've been much more pessimistic. And I was definitely pessimistic coming into and out of the All-Star break when they dropped 4 of 6 to, Arizona and
Colorado.
Colorado, yeah.
They lost 2 of 3 to Colorado.
Yeah. So when they did that, I was like, no. And I was worried about Seth Lugo, who didn't look good his last start before the All-Star break. Well, now Seth Lugo's come out and is back to being Seth Lugo. Brady Singer's the best version of Brady Singer. Cole Reagans is not the best version of Cole Reagans, but the other two makes you feel pretty good. Michael Wacha's solid. They've added to the bullpen, which I like a lot. So yeah, I'm much more, and we're getting to a point. Part of the reason why I've been down on is like 5 guys cannot go the distance. Like on average, we looked it up. On average, 8 different guys will start for a playoff team. 8. Well, the Royals had already had Daniel Lynch and somebody else made a start. So they were
They used
at 7.
an opener once.
Let's see.
They might have. That might be who I'm thinking of.
I think they used an opener one time.
No, they gave
8 guys have started.
They gave Bauer or not Bauer, the kid from Memphis that was in that
Bolin.
18 draft. Jonathan Bolin.
Daniel Lynch has 3. Dan Altavia had this
That
opener.
was the opener.
And then Jonathan Bolin got a start.
All right,